I know that you're a big Sherlock Holmes fan. I was just wondering, is this a role that you sort of went after, or did Guy Ritchie come to you?
Guy Ritchie came to me. He literally did. It was a complete shock and delightful surprise. I've always loved the Sherlock Holmes stories, and the character of Mycroft is so intriguing because he's brighter, he's even more intelligent than Sherlock Holmes, and yet he has this terrible flaw that he has no energy, he has no interest in solving crimes, he has no interest in making people happier. He's just a pure intellect. He's like a chess player. He works for the Foreign Office, for the government, for the Empire as it was then. No one quite knows how he moves things around like chess pieces on the global map, and he's obviously of incredible importance to the government because his mind contains so much information. In the days before computers, it was like a card index mind, and but he couldn't be bothered to get on trains and travel. Everything was just done. Papers were brought to him, papers were sent out by messengers, and he spent his time in his club and at home. He was incredibly lazy, and Sherlock had a marvelous mind, maybe not as incredible, but he also has the energy, and he can sword fight, and he can box, and he'll chase the villain down, and that's the difference, and that's perfect for me, because if there's one thing I don't like on film sets, it's having to do stunts and rolling around and putting knee pads on and having to spend 4 hours with stunt directors being told how to fall and how to hold a sword. I mean, I'm just hopeless at that kind of thing.
What do you think then of Guy Ritchie's approach, which is really kind of visceral and...
I think it's magnificent,
yeah.
and I fitted into it wonderfully because I was the antidote to it, as it were. I mean, there's so much of this incredible explosive action, so much, I mean, the marvellous, smiling, malicious, horrifying character of Moriarty that Gareth Harris does so brilliantly, and the very ambiguous and powerful Numi's character, and obviously the central pillars of the film, Jude and Robert, have so much action and so much, sort of blood and fighting and torture and so on, and I'm the rather, oh dear, oh God, I suppose I've got to go to Switzerland and well, look out for this, try and do this, and just telling them how it's all working on an international scale, but I'm barely having to get up from a seat. It's just bliss for me, and also. Being encouraged by Guy to improvise, by Guy and by Robert, the working day on these films is a pleasant one because Susan and Robert Downey invite you into the trailer with Jude and with Guy and with Lionel Wigram, the writer producer, and we all. We talk about the scene that's coming up, and we read it, and we think about ways to make it funnier, clearer. The plotting is the hardest part because it's shot out of sequence, and does he know that she's gone through that? Because if he doesn't know that, then how can this? That kind of stuff. That's the bit that drives us all crazy, and that's the bit that sometimes needs a bit of reshooting at the end because suddenly the audience thinks, "Why is he there? How did he get there?" And oh heck, we forgot that. But to get the scenes working, it's wonderful. We'll do it all together, and Guy will sit in the corner, and his brain is. There are certain kinds of film directors who just have a brain that thinks in pictures and thinks in movement and points of view, and Guy is a genius like that, and people think of him as just some sort of laddie figure who does a few gangster pictures and married Madonna and so on. They don't realise he on a film set he's hugely respected. He really knows so much about how to make a scene live. It's one thing to write a scene that is quite pleasantly shaped. It's another to make it come alive, and he can do that.
And is that why he was able to persuade you to get naked?
Well, to be fair to him, he was really kind about that. The scene had it as naked, and they were almost doing it thinking Stephen will never agree. And I read it, and I thought, God, that is actually quite funny. This idea of this man who lives alone, Mycroft, and he's forgotten that he's invited Watson's fiancée to come and stay at his house to be safe from the threats of Moriarty, and he's so used to living alone, so used to his regular life of wandering about, that he gets up in the morning completely naked, reading a newspaper, walking up, and there's this girl just shocked out of her wits, and he just carries on as if nothing's happened. And I thought, well, and Guy said, "Are you really on for this? Are you sure?" And he really gave me the option. He said, because I can, we can. I said, no, we don't want the cliche of the tea trays in the way and all that. That's all been done in comedy ways in Austin Powers and things. It's either I am fully naked or I'm not. I don't think there's a need for it to be full frontal, because that is just so distracting and peculiar. But there's got to be at least one wideish shot where you see that I am completely naked, because that's necessary. And he said, well, good on you. And so we got that, and the rest of it is a little bit closer in, so I could have a towel around me. I didn't actually have to spend the time going, I'm not an exhibitionist. I'm quite a modest person. I have much to be modest about. I don't have the, I think I've got I could be more proud of my breasts than my genitalia, probably, my moobs. But in the end, it was a good scene, and it would have been, I think, cowardly and wrong of me not to have done it.